Hello and welcome back to Disc Golf Daily, the podcast that tries to catch you up on all things disc golf in about 10 minutes. I'm Brian Papa Wolf Frawley, and I do not have a Disc Golf Pro Tour event to recap this weekend. An off week, some people were out at Brent Hampick, some people were out practicing at Worlds, some people were participating in some of the field events, and we'll get to those in a second. But I have two special guests with me. If you're listening, not watching, just so you know, we've got Tim Barham. How you doing today, Tim?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me. What's up, everybody at home?
Woo woo! Michigan Pro Discraft sponsored player. And speaking of Discraft, we have the one and only Team Stamp Wes. How you doing today?
Doing great. Looking forward to this one. Love this idea.
It's always fun when you can bring friends on, and we've already got some hot action at Worlds down in Virginia. The PDGA Professional Disc Golf Championship, World Championship, is in Virginia this weekend. We've had the doubles go off already, and congrats to Owen, Scoggins, and Joel Freeman for taking first place. And we had a great tie between the law offices of Gannon and Gannon and the newlyweds, Kristen and Silver. In the putting, no surprise, on the FPO side, we had Owen Scoggins. On the MPO side, a player that's had a great mid-season, Ezra Robinson is playing hot. Might be something you want to look into for, maybe you're making a bet on Worlds. You might want to check out Ezra. Long drive, shocker. Heidi Line takes it on the FPO side with, I believe, a 522-foot drive, if memory serves me. And AB, not shocker, on the MPO side, just under 700 feet. On the skill side, Dylan Horst for the MPO and Madison Walker for the FPO. As of right now, I think all the scores are in, but that's, at the time of the recording, what we got. So congrats to you guys. With the World Championships happening this week, we thought it was good to bring on someone that knows a little bit more about golf than me. So we have Tim Barham here. We're excited to watch this event that starts on Wednesday and goes through Sunday. Played on a couple different courses, and I won't go into too much more detail. But Tim, how many Worlds is this for you?
Oh man, I wish I had an exact answer for you, but I'm gonna say a rough 7.
Rough 7, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
So Tim, we're playing 2 courses down there, correct?
Yes, there are 2 courses, and they complement each other very well. We have a tightly wooded course at New London, very long, very specific on the shots and the landing zones. And then at Ivy Hill, we have an open ball golf course. But it's not like every other ball golf course where it's all about distance. This course is going to make you throw specific shots and throw your distance shots accurately.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm excited to watch the different looks, if you will, from the 2 separate courses. What do you think we're going to be looking for? Let's go with New London first. Do you think we're going to see a lot of bogeys like we would at Northwood Black, or do you think we're going to sneak some birdies in there? What have you been seeing so far?
So far, I've played about 5 rounds out there, including the mixed doubles event where we played 2 rounds on Sunday. And the scores that day, I'm just going to say for now, were remarkably impressive. The course itself is difficult and long. I'm not going to try to say it's like a Northwoods. I don't think it's going to be quite as tough as Northwoods, but I think the players are going to play better out there than expected. The specific holes that are very tough would be holes 2, holes 6, and holes 18. Those holes, throwing the disc very far and keeping it in a very tight area is key to even get an option for birdie. So those are going to be the struggle holes for the majority of the field. Other than that, I think the field is going to play pretty well, and we might even see we might see double digits on that course.
Wow. Now the other ball golf style course?
The ball golf style course, Ivy Hills, is a very difficult, very long course. The biggest thing for us so far from everybody that I've talked to is just the idea of walking it. Because so far, all of our practice rounds, we've got to use carts. And it is a big course. And there are some hikes in between the holes. So definitely, I would say, a stamina type course to where you got to be physically fit to even feel good by the time you get to holes 16, 17, 18, have your power left and so forth like that. But score-wise, I'm going to say honestly, with the skill level these days, there could also be double digits out there. But I don't.
Wow.
But that's a tall task. I think somewhere between a 6 and an 8 might be pretty high.
Well, that's some insider information from Tim. We'll be looking for fatigue on those final 4 holes when we're watching along on our Disc Golf Network subscription. Thank you for that, Tim.
Yeah. One thing about disc golf betting, I think it would bring more eyes to disc golf. It would get more people involved with disc golf that aren't disc golfers, which I think would, on the whole, be great for disc golf. We had a brief stint of disc golf betting with a website called Prize Picks. We had that for, I believe it was about a year, maybe 9 months to a year. And that one, you just picked over or under on the rounds by player. They pretty much only had the top like 8 to 10 players. They did also have FPO players, so both MPO and FPO. And you could bet on 2 people, or you could bring it all the way up to 5 if you wanted to do like a parlay style. So we have had some betting with disc golf before.
Well, sometimes we have live stuff happening, and I just got cut off midway through that, so I hope it recorded. If not, welcome back to that exciting section of betting. So, yep, we had, what was the name of that again, Wes?
Prize Picks.
Prize Picks, that's right. And I know our European friends across the pond were betting on a different app in Europe, and they were happened to thank Ricky both on social media and in person, because a lot of people were betting Ricky during his European swing, and they were making some money on that. The Disc Golf Pro Tour has thought of this before. There's a wonderful link and announcement from April 15th about the tour signing a comprehensive partnership with U.S. Integrity, which is a firm that oversees gambling, for lack of a better way to explain that. If you want to read more, you can hop on there and read more about that. So let's get done with the boring stuff. Let's move on to the fun stuff now. Tim, do you think Pro Tour should be bet on?
I've got 2 answers. I've got my personal answer, and I've got the answer that I've spoke with other touring pros about. Because after receiving the info about this podcast, I've asked a few people. And personally, I think it's a great idea. I think every time we get to follow the footsteps of other sports that have done well with things, I think that's our best option. And 2, I think it's more fun. It's more fun for the fans. Like, why do we bet? Is because we have our pros that we like, and we like to bet on them, and it brings more fun to it in general. So that's my first bet, or my opinion in general. And everybody that I had talked to, honestly, all the other pros that I've spoke with about this, they agree. We like the idea of bringing in more fun for the fans and just more chances to get involved and interact with your favorite pros, and like have the chance to make money off betting on your favorite pros. It's a great idea in my opinion.
All right. Well, Tim, what do you think, or I guess, what do you think would happen if, let's say, I made the Pro Tour magically, found the Fountain of Youth, and I bet on myself to score? What do you think should happen to a player that bets on themselves?
I think, just like the other sports that I brought up prior, I don't think you should be allowed to bet on yourself. I do like the idea of players being able to bet, just because why not? It's just more fun. It's more money in the purse. It's more whatever. But betting on yourself, or anything to do with yourself as far as that goes, or maybe even like a tournament director betting on the tournament that he's hosting. If you have anything to do with the event, or you're involved with it, I don't think you should be allowed to do that. It just brings up too much complications and chances for things to go in weird directions and people to make accusations.
Yeah, I think that tournament director point is really good. And since I'm a TD, Wes, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm not sure that if you are a tour card member, you should be able to bet. I understand the fun side, but I think that you could quickly get into a lot of weird circumstances. There's still not a ton of money in the Pro Tour. Obviously, there's some pros out there that are doing all right to stay on the road, but it brings up some of those ethical questions where, if your round's going a little south, you know what your line's at. Maybe you got some money on yourself. Maybe you throw a couple extra bogeys to hit the under on it or something. So TDs and players, feels like it could get a little sticky.
Yeah, I can definitely feel that. Hopefully it's not just a straight amount of bogeys or something like that, because then players could, definitely tilt in things their way for sure. All right, well, Wes took some time to make some amazing odds for us, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this in the post show. But the three of us have put $10, into our pocket, and we're going to make that bet later. But Wes, why don't you go through about how you made the odds, and maybe point out a few of the numbers, if you will, for both MPO and FPO.
Yeah, just kind of went through these. I've done this before the last year or two, just kind of for fun. A lot of this, when I'm making these odds, I go kind of by more of a heat index. So what has the player done recently? But also looking at some of the things like Tim talked about. These are long courses. It's going to be an endurance battle. You've got a lot of rounds out there. So taking some of those things into account too. A player's age, a more youthful player might have a little bit more endurance versus somebody who's got more miles, more tournaments on their legs over the years. Just really looking at all of the different factors to try and come up with some odds for these players.
Excellent. Well, we thank you for taking the time and doing that today. So I'm going to try to flash these fancy odds up on the screen, or at least the top 20 or so. Technology is not my thing. But Tim, why don't you give us, if you had a $10 bet, and I know you can't pick yourself in this, we're going to play rules. So, Tim, if you got a $10 bet on the FPO side and the MPO side, why don't you tell us what the bet was, and then what the odds that Wes set it at as well?
Okay, so if I'm trying to make money and I'm not betting on myself, we'll just get that out of the way instantly. But MPO is really hard to go against Gannon Burr. It really is. After watching the way he played with Missy during the doubles, they shot 20 down through the first 18 holes and best shot dubs. Unreal. I think he can attack that course very, very well. And also knowing that if he goes over to Ivy Hill with his distance and with his long putt making ability, it's just hard to go against him right now. And he's having an amazing season. And if I were trying to make money, that's the obvious bet. I think Wes, I don't have the chart pulled up in front of me, but I already know that Wes had him at the top of the charts, and with the best odds to win the event, 3-1 odds. And I completely understand why he's up there, and I totally agree with it. On the FBO side, it's similar. It's hard to go against Kristen Tatar. She's been playing. She's one of the best females in the world without a doubt, and it's hard to bet against her. But I think I might anyways. I think I might go with the second on the list as far as odds go, and go with Owen Scoggins. The way that she plays in the woods is going to be a huge, huge factor with how she finishes this week. The rounds at New London after playing New London myself, it is tightly wooded. It's very scramblable. It is very sidearm friendly, and between the scrambling, the sidearms, and the ability to make putts, she's at the top of all three of those charts. So I know Owen is going to do amazing at London Hills. It's going to be a factor of whether she keeps herself in it at Ivy, which I think she has the ability to do as well, because it's not super distance related. So I'm going to go Gannon Burr, Owen Scoggins.
All right, great picks for you. I'm not saying way to go outside the box, but I mean, number one and number two, but that's all right.
Tough. It's tough.
Wes, give me something that's not number one and not number two. Come on.
Yeah, I think on the MPO side, if we're kind of going for a sleeper here, somebody who's a little bit down the list, Joey Buckets is obviously really hot. Goose is another one that he's ranked 22nd by rating in the world, but he's been known to have some big events. Tim just talked about the sidearm friendly. I think that Goose kind of gets up for these worlds, so I actually have Goose kind of at a little bit higher odds than a lot of the other people around his rating. I got Goose at 12-1, and I have Joey Buckets, I believe, at 12-1 also. So I would probably go between one of those two guys. $10, turn it into 120. Sounds good to me. On the FPO side, I feel like things are a little bit more open. Somebody who I think needs a good performance, I have them at 7-1 odds, Valerie Mandujano. I feel like she needs, a big tournament this year. She's proven that she can win in the past. I feel like she's just rock solid. She's just kind of cold. I don't want to say she doesn't care because she has a lot of passion for disc golf, but when she's on the course, she's just really focused. And I feel like that's going to play really well out across Worlds, especially with these courses. So if I'm trying to turn my $10 into some extra cash, Valerie Mandujano at 7-1, I think's a fun bet for me.
Yeah, those are a little bit longer bets. I'm going to even spread my $10 a little bit longer. I'm going to go with Andrew Marweed 10-1. Shocker, a little homer on me, but that's my boy. And then on the FPO side, I'm on Team Cox today, 1-20 odds. Pay me that money. Rebecca Cox becomes first-time world champion, and I'm getting paid. So that would be a lot of fun if we could do that. Gentlemen, I got to thank you both for hanging out with me today. We went a little bit longer than normal, but we appreciate you. Tim, best of luck. Wes, I know you're TDing a big A-tier in Michigan this same weekend, so best of luck with you, buddy.
Thanks.
Thanks for having me.
As always, Tim, love you, buddy. As a reminder, if you're on YouTube watching this, remember to hit that like and subscribe. We are also on X, Instagram, and Facebook. We have an AOL email at discgolfdaily@aol.com. Until next time, remember to keep it in the fairway.
Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. It really does help us grow.